Hello world. Today is January 2nd, 2022. Again, that's 22, Ron. Remember, it's 22. Alright? And after the last video, it seemed like the Monroe affair was over, but there's an entanglement, right? It won't be over until I get her in civil court. She must understand this. As well as Mr. Gruppa, right? And that Travis man. Because listen, this woman sang like a canary. That's just the facts. Anybody could go down there and get it. It was on the 24th of August, 2021 in Arapahoe County in their civil division building. Right down from the light rail. So anyways, she threw it out, right? And now they're getting ready to take me into custody. I could tell this. Listen, I have this, I'm a little different character, right? People think because I'm autistic I can't read people. That's the problem with me, right? To an extent, though. I mean, I know what certain behaviors are supposed to be. Right? I don't need to pick up any vibes from people. People look at each other, they give cues. They're not professionals, right? A professional like me could pick up on cues like that, even if I'm an autistic person. My autism just allows me to get into my head and to comfortably separate myself from other people. I don't need people touching me, right? I'd be happy to have a nice lady touch me, right? And my kids or whatever. But, you got to keep yourself healthy, man. Other people will make you sick. I'm telling you. And foods that you eat or that you didn't prepare yourself, you should know about. Not that anybody's trying to harm you, but some people don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. So these are the kinds of things that you have to take into account. But anyways. Now I have to tell you where I was mentally, because I know they're taking me in, I could tell their posture, and now I know I fucked myself in a couple of areas. Number one, I had no cash, and I didn't have my card, right? It was in my suit. I was figuring on coming back, because I've been in front of her before, and I've talked to cops before, and they know there was a warrant for me, right? And I guess I found out, I'm not sure exactly how that came about, but if they raised the bond up to $1,000, then that extradite from county to county, right? And mind you, this is a simple traffic violation. This isn't, they could call it criminal if they want, but I could have defended myself. I was taking video from the day I left Virginia, every freaking day, okay? Until they told me I could, that cop told me I could, that state patrol guy told me I couldn't drive my car anymore. Well, what he didn't know is I had a shop, right? And that's where I could put my car. And it's none of that goddamn motherfucking business, but that prick followed me all the way to fucking Pueblo more than once, prior to them taking my car from me. They know exactly where my shit is, right? I talked to a guy before. Right? And the reason being, this is something that's not in the federal case, but again, to put you in my my mindset, right? That's where some of these state patrol guys came in early, because they're out there on 160 telling me I'm going slow. What are you fucking talking about? I'm doing 65 and a 70. That's your fucking problem? I got nowhere to fucking go, man. I'm here to go hunt some animals. To me, I fucking track them. I don't have to kill them. That's the coup de grace, right? If that's what you think hunting is, it isn't. You go sit behind a fucking tree and freeze your ass off. I'm going out in the wilderness. I'm hunting these fucking predators down, finding out where the fucking game is. Because I gotta know where the bears are sleeping, but there's still cat. And besides, there's snow, and there's cat. And I already know where they are anyway, because I was scouting out the forest from the day I came in Colorado. 6 months and a couple of weeks. I know where all the game is, right? That's why I need a horse. I seen plenty of moose. You can only take one in your lifetime. But anyways, I'm getting off track. But like I said, the cop, he's talking to me. And he wanted to know why I didn't report this guy fucking dropping on me on 160. Two of them came up behind me. Right? And so I slow down. That's my tactic. Especially if somebody's following me. Right? If I decelerate, my car does, the lights don't come on, people. All of a sudden you're up my asshole. Right? And then you compensate, you look down at what the speed is. And that's a drastic decision you're making. And then on the other hand, you get the people that are keeping pace with you at a distance. They're more interesting, aren't they? Right? But yeah, man, I slowed down my car all the way down to motherfucking 30 miles an hour. I'm like, what are you gonna fucking do, dudes? Really? You could have passed me at fucking 65. Why are you fucking with me? Right? I mean, I can smell these motherfucking souls, man. Shit. So he pulls up on the side of me, and it's like they got intel from, I'm not talking to that many people, but I don't have my car. My car's getting repaired. I'm having the clutch redone. Flywheel, everything. I spent $4,000, right? So I'm in this other piece of shit Subaru, not a WRX or anything, right? Like Outback or whatever it was. Anyway, it's got no balls. I'm down to 30. I'm like, make a fucking move, dude, right? So I don't have my cameras. If I was in my car, I would have had it all. I would have had his balls to the wall, right? So this freaking Chicano or this, I don't know, Latin dude, Indian, who knows, man? It was, straight black hair, chubby, fat cheeks. He was so chubby he couldn't get the fucking piece out the window fast enough. Whether he was going to pull the trigger or not, at that point, it's not my concern. If I was armed, hey. But I had to take a evasive maneuver, right? Because I seen it coming out, and I did a reverse J on the car behind me because he pulled up on the side. So I do a reverse J, come up from behind the car, right? And that car slows me down, hitting the brakes. I try to pass him. Like I said, I got a piece of shit. He's not letting me pass him. The guy that pulled, he's got his fat ass back in the back seat. And they're driving away. I chased him down to San Luis as best I could. The car didn't have enough. If I had my WRX, there's no way in fucking hell they would have beat my ass. And I would have had him on tape, too. Right? Because once I did that remove on him, they know I had the drop on him. Right? Because he's going to have to shoot through his own guy I'm behind right now. I mean, if the guy in front of me was smart, he'd let me pass his ass, and then they'd have one in the front and one in the back. Right? But there's nobody around down there, people. There's nobody going to drive by. Not fucking early in the morning, Or even at night, or even during the day, the daytime, if it's, a lot of travelers, going to the mountains from other states. So I told the cop, I says, well, it's my word against his, right? Now, how did the cop know that? Because people are talking. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to a whole lot of people. I mean, the only person I told was the guy over at Subaru. Again, Subaru, right? I told him what happened. Maybe he tells the cops, right? Everybody's a threat to them around here except the crooks that live here. And, they're doing business with the fucking crooks, man. Some of these people. I got the cops telling me that. Sergeant Bright over there I talked to at the, the Auraria, Colfax and Auraria, Supers. He was telling me about, shit that was going on in another county. I believe it. I know it's going down, and that's why I'm in federal court, right? So anyways, moved to Colorado, number one, right? Buy property, I think it's cool, right? Landscape, 30,000 square feet with a front loader. Put solar lamps on it, everything. Really nice looking, right? All it needs is the building. Got a building contract. Got thousands of dollars to pay for. More. I can pay for 4 fucking buildings that I want to put there. I mean, it's only a 600 square foot requirement, right? I pay permits. They do nothing. right? I'm not getting due process. They say they turn over permits in 15 days. The only one they did was the road access permit, and that's when I'm supposed to get my address. Like in other counties, you know, you pay for the driveway permit, and then you get an address. That's immutable. That's the land. That's the declaratory judgment I want. Well, they don't want that, right? So now there's a sewage permit fee, and I'm an expert in that area, right? They cashed the permit, right? That's when I knew I had them on a federal for under color of law trying to defraud me out of $500. Okay? I could prove this beyond any doubt. They're so stupid, they don't give a fuck. They've been getting away with this shit forever, and there's no oversight by the state, right? And there was a cop, in this case, that I told him I'd give him the opportunity to talk about it. 2 of them, actually. It's all their public record at the federal court. No need to say their names here, right? So I put my stuff in storage. I never seen it coming, man. We're talking a small community of people and they're robbing each other? What are you fucking kidding me? Killing each other? Guzman? Right? I'm gone 1 day or 2 days. I went to Virginia to get a couple of things. I come back and my lock is gone. It's popped. And the building's telling me that someone called to cancel the unit. Now that's bullshit. Oh, really? Did somebody call my phone? Because, you know, how are you going to get around that? If you call my phone, that's an act that you commit. I can't make that up. I can't go to your phone and call myself. Right? But anyways, my shit's gone. And there's enough there for someone to possibly try to steal my identity. I had an issue with the VA, right? I'm not going to go into all that. You know, with Jennifer Robinson, the sexual harassment, and other things happened, right? So now I'm a victim of a burglary. Cop calls me, talks to me for 49 minutes, telling me about the corruption. I'm like, in this little fucking place? You know? And another cop tells me it's down in Taos, right? New Mexico. But, you go down there, man, everything's closed, COVID. I mean, there's not many people. They're not going to come all the way up to my property to steal fucking $3 pegs that got reflectors on them just to take them. And my bird houses, right? And my fucking tools, you know, my yard tools, right? What kind of fucking bullshit is that? No, it's fucking motherfuckers, some of them motherfuckers around there, they're the ones that are fucking doing it. And we're not talking about a lot of fucking people either, right? These people are pricks. And I had to deal with them a couple of times. One thing I could have put in my federal case was that they assaulted my property under cover of night to intimidate me off my property. But, you know, I know how to defend myself. And when I say under cover of night, when it's a new moon and there's no light, it's dark as shit. Believe me. Right? When the moon comes up, everything lights up. But I can hear these motherfuckers. Right? They think they're playing cowboys and Indians or something. I know what fucking animals sound like, asshole. You're not very good at it. Right? So they're testing my perimeter. I get a caller. That means there's 2. Probably 3. Right? Trying to scare my ass. I'm in my car. They run by my car. Well, now, you know, they're getting very dangerous for themselves. Let's face it, man. There's other people in this world that know how to handle themselves. Why would you put yourself in a position where you could get harmed? That's how ignorant they are. Right? I'm not going to fuck around. I'm an old crippled man. Right? I ain't gonna fucking sit there and play with them. I'm not. That's an aggressive act. That's a federal crime. Alright? That they could be prosecuted on. But, of course, I can't see them. And even if you had field cameras, there's no motherfucking way it would pick these people up. You could only show that there was people there. Well, I already know that. Because you could use infrared to show there's people there. But there's no light at all. It's like a dark velvet. I don't know, maybe a fucking night vision works. I don't know where they get the light from, but it's dark as shit, dude. And I can't afford night vision. I can only afford field cameras. So that's one incident that happened. Another incident that happened, I picked up this pickup truck at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was coming back from partying in Pueblo. Well, yeah, not partying, but doing my own shit. I came back down off of 50 from west and was in Pueblo for a while, pretty much. Then so I'm coming back to my property, and I'm coming down. It's a fucking semi-arid desert, dude. It's all sand with scrub and shit. Right? My car, I'm not driving out in that shit. You got to get down. Like on my property, I had to go down 4 feet. Right? Or I had to build it up with stone and shit. Right? But I can't. But some of these guys got these trucks that got these balloon tires on it, right? And that's how they're traversing from one street to the other by going across, right? Well, so I'm coming around, and I pick them up about 200 yards. They got their lights on. They're to my rear on the left, and they're in the fluff. That's what I call it. So they're coming up, and I know I'm gonna ditch my car behind this dune. Because, like I said, you got to dig down so you could drive on it. So there's a big embankment in some spots. And I got my fucking bow. And I got like 3 different kinds. Listen, I got 3 different kinds of tips. I'm not going to get into all that. Alright, so what I do is I park my car. I get out of my car with my bow. Right? And I take a drop on them. So I'm sitting there looking at my watch. I'm saying, well, how long is it going to be before these guys realize that someone's got the drop on them? Well, it took about 3 minutes. Well, I wouldn't even say 3 minutes. It seemed like it was 3 minutes. I forget the actual, no more than 3 minutes, right? Because I was moving too, so I didn't exactly get the time when I started, right? But the time I looked at my watch, it took them about 30 seconds to realize I had the drop on them. And they couldn't see me. Right? I mean, what else am I supposed to do? They're expecting me to come around, and then they could come right off the fluff and cut me off. I don't know who these motherfuckers are, right? And if they don't have nefarious, they can't be there anyway, first of all. It's not their property, right? They're trespassing. So that's the first indication of nefarious behavior, right? It is. It's trespassing. They're taking liberties, right? Whatever you want to fucking call it. Right? So, they realized that I wasn't coming around. My car was not coming around, so they got a little frantic, and he started moving the front of the truck around really fast, try to get the lights out. But that's futile, because I was behind them anyway. I'm not stupid. They'd have to turn their car all the way around, but they still wouldn't get me, because I'd moved before that. But anyway, so they realized I had a drop on them, and they peeled out, and they went from where they came, right? I didn't have to do anything, right? But you have to take a defensive posture. What else are you supposed to do? And if people push you, that's why you have the right to bear arms. That's the whole point of it. I'm on my own fucking property. People commit a federal crime trying to intimidate me off of it. All my shit was stolen. Right? So I burglarized, stole my identity, right? Which branched off into another crime. It's all in the case. I don't want to get into it. So I got all this that's weighing down, right? Running out of money, right? Got Jennifer Robinson showing up in a couple of places. It's all there in the case. I can't say nothing. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Am I being studied or what, man? I'm not fucking with anybody. Listen, if I tell you that's it. I don't play around. I'm a very straightforward person. Like I said, I don't like clowns. I don't play pretend. I might distract people who mean me harm. That's not a lie. That's self-defense. Right? So anyways, those crimes have been committed, and they have not been addressed, right? And the lower court judge does not want to rule on a Rule 8 amendment. And in my opinion, Rule 8 is just to get the case in there. It's not the whole kit and caboodle, You have to, state your claim at some point, from a chronological point of view also, you can always amend the complaint. I mean, what's the big issue with that, right? Anyway, so, he wasn't very favorable to me. That's why I went upstairs, like I said. All right, so now what ends up happening is the appeals court sends his first hand and tells me to explain to him how it is that he has jurisdiction to, talk to the lower court judge, let's say, in whatever fashion he chooses, right? So I'm going to give him a legal lesson. Madison v. Marbury. They went into all of that. And that's how some of these federal statutes came out. An interlocutory appeal is basically a writ of mandamus in some ways. They use different terminology sometimes, but a lot of it seeks to achieve the same purpose. Venue might be different, or I'm not going to get into all that. But so I got into that case, explained why, and I called out the statute that allowed me to bring this written entanglement because, I don't feel that the case could have gone on, without the amended complaint, because now a woman has died, right? I could show that I called the VA and I was telling them that I saw some people in the field that's freaking me out and they need to stop it, and they said they didn't do that, right? The guy's name is in the case. I don't have to say it here, right? I'm coming across the mountain, like I said in the case, come up upon the scene. Jennifer Robinson is gone. Traumatizes the fuck out of me. Right? Why? I told them. Why was she on the mountain? I know why I was there, and I know where she showed up before that. And I know she knows where I was going. People are giving her information that's not right. If I'm going to get my car fixed or something, some chick or whoever should not be telling other people where my appointments are. Or follow me around to see what I'm doing. I mean, what's wrong with talking to me? I mean, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Why can't you talk to me? Right? I'm just going about my business. That's why all this could be proven. Because there's records of that. Alright? So, now Jennifer Robinson dies. I'm freaking out. Right? I'm traumatized, right? They tell me, this woman Teresa over at the VA tells me, and she's got the director over down at Colorado Springs on the phone, saying, we'll investigate, whatever. I go to the hospital because I want, I'm in distress. I store my car and I freaking go to the hospital because I'm really beside myself. I mean, this is like unfucking believable, right? How does this happen? Who was manipulating her? Who was that guy? Right? They locked me up for 72 hours because they said the VA said that I had previously told them if something happened to her that I'd shoot the place up. Now, who the fuck would predict something like this would happen? These people are so fucking absurd, right? Why would I say I would ever shoot up anything? That's ridiculous. They're going to have to prove that. That's a falsification of a record. Again, a federal crime. Right? That's a federal crime. Also, sexual harassment from that woman that was in the VA at that day. Whether an employee or not committed a federal crime, that's federal property. She sexually harassed me and Jennifer Robinson. Right? And Jennifer Robinson was gone now. They locked me up for 72 hours. I get out. I go back to the scene. I took pictures, and it shows where they tried to spin out, where they got pushed off the road or whatever, however it happened. There's no phone signal there. They would have had to get out of the car and try to get a phone signal. If they were familiar with the area like I am, it's possible to go a few miles and get a signal. And the weather was, to me it's not that bad, but if you're not prepared for it, if you don't have the clothing, listen, this is -4. This is my kind of weather right now. That's why I came out here, right, early now. The other reason was because I got up this morning and I saw 26 views, right? And that stuff happened to me before. And that excited me. Thank you very much. Whatever side you're on, I think we just need to be civil from here, right? No need to make it worse on your part. Because there's no way in hell you're going to get me to go off my rocker like you do a lot of other guys. I'm way too smart for that. Alright, so now what's happening is, after I send the paper in, I'm waiting for his hand again. Like I said, I didn't see any ruling, but what I found out is the very day that they pulled me over for, going off-roading and shit, was the day that the appeals court came down with some decision. Now, it's my opinion that if you're going to say I don't have jurisdiction, you can't just dismiss any kind of argument I have then. You need to send the whole thing back down. I mean, how is it that all of a sudden you're going to make a decision that I would have to appeal past you when you're sending me down saying that he ain't done yet and I have to wait, right? Well, why didn't they grant my injunction then? Right? Like I said, what harm could come to the state? I got no record. Right? I had plus 5 points coming out of Virginia. My plates were good till May. I had legal property. Except for the fraud that Castile County put on the public. And that's the other thing. They put on the deed that they used the plat number instead of giving me an address. Making it look like there is no address. And then they tell the postmaster, don't put me in the system. Now, how can a federal officer take direction from a local fucking magistrate? Right? Or a state judge, which is a state magistrate. Right? Well, they're all state magistrates. Locally, I mean, within the system, right? Excuse me. So anyways, all that's on my mind. Right? I got out after 72 hours. Then I go down to Fremont County. I go to the fucking county. I want to talk to the coroner. I get the assistant coroner. After some, rather, you could feel the tension on them. You could feel the men, really getting between me and what I was trying to accomplish. Of course, there was no physical interaction or not, but these people were, you could tell they were serious people. But when I talked to the assistant coroner, he tried to deny that they picked up any bodies. I got it on video. I showed it to him. I'm just truncating it. I mean, of course, it was dialogue. Well, how can you explain this? It just so happens that I'm coming down the mountain, right, after enjoying the storm, testing my car out, my new snow tires, right, and then the next morning I come upon Jennifer Robinson in her car with those glasses and that hat on, and another person dead on the other side of the street. It's probably that tall guy that was prodding her at Subaru. I mean, what the fuck is going on, people? I'm not a crazy man. I'm a sane person. This can all be proven because I told the feds, and I didn't say you could listen to everything, but that's fine. I'm publishing this. I told them, take my pings and match them to her pings. Why is she showing up where I have appointments? Right? Did she go by me on the west side of the mountain where I was camping out? I was there till 12 because of the snow, man. It was fucking awesome. I did all the storms in 20, up to almost the end of January of 21. Anyways, that's what I was here for too, right? This is what I want to do. I don't want to be inside. I want to go in for comfort and do my art and shit, but I want to go out in the wild. I want to see the animals. I want to interact with nature, right? Get brief and fresh air. Look at some of my earlier videos, relocation interludes, when I'm in the mountains and shit. I was having a hell of a time. So anyways, all this is on me, right? Right? So then the Monroe Fair comes up, and I'm not going to repeat that, but you have to go back if you need to refresh your memory. That comes up. And within 4 or 5 days before I have to be back in court on the 24th of August, all of a sudden this guy shows up at the storage place with this dog. Right? And he wants to go at it with me, like medieval, right? I'm not shitting you, right? Straight the fuck up. Well, prior to that, when I was going to work at the American Legion at 4 o'clock in the morning, right up the street from Kingston Court, right? I believe that's Harvard Street. Guy comes up, shuts his lights off, rolls up on me, rolls his windows down. I could barely see him. I couldn't really get a good look at him, right? And he's like, "What the fuck you doing here?" Right? And I got my blade on, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm just on my way to work. Who the fuck are you? He's talking to me like he's a cop or something. Like he has some real authority. Very confident. You know, like he knows he's in control. And there's only one way he could think that. Right? So, I'm like, well, you know, and then he told me I should go back east and called me a faggot. I'm like, okay, I know it's not a cop now, right? So I go to step in really slow so I can see if I get a look at him. And as I did that, he told me to stop, and he reached. That motherfucker would have dropped me right there, right? I just kid you not. You know? If he thought he could get away with it, he would. And that's why I said, don't look good for Mr. Lidge, Tarek. I mean, who knows how far this guy's gone. Hopefully he didn't go that far. But the guys at the house, 2 of them are saying that guy was coming back for his shit. And she's telling me, no, that he came up missing. And I said, well, maybe he's coming back for his stuff. She goes, no, he ain't coming back. So how the fuck can she say that? That's how screwed up she is, right? Or she knows something. That woman needs to be talked to. Or at a minimum, people need to see if the guy's alive. Because the other guy in the house was telling me that he moved to Colorado to get away from his wife's in-laws because they were threatening him over property. All of those things, you know, this guy is just serious, dude. He's a security guy. I mean, he might not, you know, he was my witness, right? That showed up, that didn't get to talk, like me, right? So I had my life threatened, and this guy at the storage place looks similar. Now he's got a dog, right? He's gonna get me kicked out of there, right? I talked about that earlier. So I got that going on. Now, the people at the Green Box Self-Storage said that, hey, you got to go. I said, well, I already told you I was leaving, so, you know, but I got to leave, you know, a week from the day I'm going to be in court, right? And the day before I have to go to court, the guy at the Salvation Army kicks me out. Now, listen, at some point, right, like even with the 26th, these lawyers know what the appeals court's saying. And the appeals court challenged me earlier on the first paper saying that if I didn't explain to them within that certain date that they would dismiss the case for lack of prosecution. Now, if they take my car away from me, how the fuck can I respond, right? Of course, they didn't take the car away until after I responded. Because that's the only opportunity I guess they thought they could get away with. You know, because I was off-road. I mean, if they're going to call that careless driving, so be it. But, I mean, it's a freaking goddamn semi-arid desert with snow on it. There's nothing to destroy. And I'm not in the fluff, right? Because it was worked over before. So I was only doing 24 miles an hour. I got it on film. The whole thing. I got air. It was a fucking blast, man. Right? What the fuck? It didn't hurt nothing. But I took the opportunity on the 26th, right? And then I haven't driven since. And today's the 2nd of 22. And it caused me a lot of damage to my body. Right? So now, not only was I kicked out of the shelter where I can't get access to any of my shit, and they're giving me 3 days, right? Now I'm realizing that it's hitting me at the court. Right? And then also, the fact that all I took was my ID, I think. And I got a suit on. A wool suit, but a thin wool suit, you know, like a summer wool, right? And you know, I got to be out of that storage place by the end of the, you know, within a week after that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So they processed me, right? So now I'm like, you know, everything I told the federal court, see, it could have been you know, they could have helped me by giving me an injunction, because I probably would have left the state from outside the state and tried to see what else I could do. I'm not going to spin my wheels in a place where people, you know, don't want to play fairly or give me due process, right? Or say that my property is not where my constitutional right lies, right? And all these other crimes didn't need to happen. This is just who these people are. They're depraved. And it gets even more depraved. They take me into custody in Arapahoe. They put me in a jail. I'm there until the Monday, the day before I got to be out of my storage place, right? what I didn't know is they were going to fly me. State Patrol flew me. Okay, used your taxpayer money. Okay, State Patrol flew me in a jet all the way down to Alamosa. All right, where they drove me all the way down to San Luis, and I spent the night in jail before I met that judge. And you know, I had said he earlier because I didn't know. And I don't need to know, right? Well, I mean, I can see what's happening. I don't need to know the person. I've never even laid eyes on the judge in the federal case. I couldn't tell you what he looked like. It's irrelevant, right? I'll take a look at him when I can go in there and go in front of a jury or select a jury or something in a civil matter if these people don't want to cave. But on a minimum, I got a right to a declaratory judgment on it, where my constitutional right lies. Like, you know, what the fuck? And if you're going to sit on it, you should have granted my injunction, right? That's my position, right? And anyways, so I'm sitting there over there at the jail. I got no battery, because if you look at the other part 3, I go, oh shit, I got no battery. What I did was I shut my phone off. I went and I got a little bit of warmer clothing on. You know, I put some jeans on and shit to make it through the night. I found a place between some rocks, away from where I usually, you know, what was called my area of operation, where people could have observed me. I went totally off script. Because listen, this guy was probably, well, as it turns out, he didn't have the balls to shoot my ass, because we had it, you know, later, okay? Yeah, nothing physical, but he knew who I was at that point. You know, we had a little conversation, okay? I mean, these people, you know, they never been fucking checked, man. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. They just run around and do what the fuck they want. Listen, they committed so many crimes. I got other federal cases I could bring against the state, and here it comes. Because in that case, I didn't even ask for money against the state. But that cop took my shit away. All right? That State Patrol guy. I sue in the professional and private capacity. I don't care if he's got 2 tits being sucked on. Right? I mean, fuck that. You know how much pain and suffering you caused me by not letting me drive my car? When there would be no injury to anyone, and I had no history of bad driving, no freaking goddamn... I don't fucking drink. I mean, you know, when I do my own shit, I might like to have a bourbon, like, or I'll have a bourbon before I go to bed, but fuck that shit, right? I'm not a fucking drinker. They got nothing, right? So why couldn't I maintain my privilege? Anyways, it is what it is, right? They fly me all the way down there. I'm 350 miles south of here, where I'm standing right now. I don't know anybody. Well, it appears to them that I know no one, right? But I know Christ. Okay? I do. He's in my soul. But anyways, I'll get to that too. So I'm in the jail that night, and I'm in there with a bunch of these these gangsters, right, or whatever. I don't know how serious they are, you know. But they talk like real tough, saying that the cartel had an issue with me. Like they ain't shot callers or nothing. They don't. The big guys ain't around there. They send their little fucking underlings. I had the dime dropped on me at the laundromat, and Alamosa. This guy shows up with a teardrop, right? Real skinny guy. I'm like, you know, it's gonna take at least 3 more, yeah. Right? You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Unless they're gonna shoot you, right? Well, is it that important to you, right? That you're gonna shoot me over what? Because I'm here? What the fuck is wrong with these people, man? Right? So anyways, I go and I see the judge in the morning. It's a woman, right? And over the evening, these gangsters were telling me how she's a lesbian, and everybody hates her. And I says, well, it doesn't appear you can get a fair trial based on what I mean. There's so many little people, right there. Everybody knows everyone. If there's any bias, it can get. They're telling me that she's telling. Well, of course she knows them. She's prosecuted them before, or she put them in jail before. This one guy was doing 2 years in this jail. It was like 1840, dude. I kid you not. Everything is fucking. You could do a fucking movie there and put cowboy uniforms on. You think you were there in 1840, except for like the modern door, the sliding door, the electricity, right? You gotta be kidding me, man. Really? So now I can't defend myself, right? If I was removed, if it was allowed to remove, I could bring the video into evidence to show what I was doing against the careless driving. And I would have had the opportunity to bring the cop in, right? But now I got my balls against the wall and they know it, right? You know, that judge in Arapahoe County, you know, she figures, hey, I don't know, maybe she's having a conversation with this woman down there and they, well, I'll raise the bond to $1,000. Right? Well, now they're gonna take me. She wants me down there. Right? So all the legal instruments that I pushed that were totally withheld. And listen, I don't have a case on the top of my head, but I've removed cases before from one district to another in Massachusetts. Right? I went through a couple of judges before I saved my ass out of the last time. Before I got out of there. Yeah, you're looking at a man that defended himself in front of a jury, right? I won that case, and then I walked. I never went back to Massachusetts. This is public record. These people try to put me in a pinch all the time, but I'm not so much of a nuisance for them that they put one in me. Those are the lower ducks, you know, the people that just want to push their balls around. You know, the people that they get, right? But the more you become exposed, you know, the more dangerous it gets. So I'm exposed. Right? 350 miles south. I can't afford to stay there because I got to get back within a day. I got to be back there within like 24 hours. Not even. Right? Tuesday morning I'm there. Right? And I got to go 350 miles. I got no money. I got hardly any battery, maybe a couple of calls on the phone. Right, what the fuck am I gonna do? I got a suit on. It's August, but there's radiational cooling, man. Listen, you might step out of your car and it might seem warm for a while. You stay out in a desert, the semi-arid desert at night, and with the radio, my property's at 8,000 feet, and that's where I was. Well, San Luis, my property's higher, you know, in Blanca, probably about 500 feet or something. But you're talking high altitude. This is serious radiational cooling, right? So it's not like you got to bundle up or anything. But if you're laying outside, it'll suck the heat right out of you, especially with the wind. The wind never stops. It'll fucking turn you into jerky, man, right? So this is what I'm facing. They're like, oh, it's still August. The cops won't give me a ride, right? They stranded me. So because of the depraved policies and their desire to show who has the power, you know, you can see how all these acts were taken over the year and a half that I've been here, that they've done. You know, they know. It's like what is means. Oh, okay, if you go in the dictionary and you look up is, oh, it's a fucking big ass piece of fucking work. If you got the unabridged Merriam-Webster like I do, right? But that's not the point. Everybody knows what is it means, in a sense, right? But these are the games they play, right? So what am I going to do, right? So now I'm being extorted again. This is what I believe, right? And listen, I should have been able to remove it, except for the way the state runs. The state does not claim sovereignty over matters like this, to where it could be moved from one county to another. I mean, listen, there's not many people. For the people that live there, you're gonna go up against the same people every time something happens, or if they don't like you, they can take your property and do whatever the fuck they want to you. Right? Listen, that's ridiculous. Come on now. Right? This is getting long, but I need to get it out. I want to do some painting here soon. It's still early in the morning. So anyways, telling me I got to, I I told this lawyer, they wouldn't let me speak for myself. I told the lawyer, I said, listen, I'll take the careless driving, but, what ends up happening is she tells me I can't appeal or anything, right? Well, I'm under duress, first of all, by the depraved policies. They're putting me in a position where I can't stay there because I got business I need to take care of within 24 hours. I have nowhere to get back, and I could die outside due to exposure. There's animals out there, too. It's like, there's no cats. I haven't seen any cats. But there's, other animals, those coyotes and shit, right? And sometimes they can get nasty. There's more than one of them, right? That's why you get the bow. Anyways, so I had to take what I had to take. She gave me 4 points, and I walked. They wouldn't give me a ride, and I made a call to someone. I reached out to someone that turned out to have Christ in his soul, or her soul, whoever that person is. I'm not going to say. And you shouldn't try to know. It's irrelevant. The fact is, all of you should have Christ in your soul. It wasn't because of a special affection for me that deed was done. It was mercy. And I was saved. And I made it back to Denver in time to get myself out of that storage unit, because that's where all my personal papers were. That was very important, plus my credit cards, my bank card. So this has gone on long enough. There's more to say, but I managed to get out of that. And I got back to Denver, and nobody ever pulled the trigger on me. I ran across that guy who said he was, and he ran. Well, eventually. Right? Because he's just a thug, man. So anyways, I better end this now. And I hope you can understand what I went through on the Monroe affair. And how at that point after that, I was like, well, why even deal with the federal case anymore, man? It just even traumatized me more where I couldn't even look at it anymore. They weren't coming to me and asked me to identify the woman that I said that committed these crimes. They're not talking to me, right? They got my phone number. Right? They could call me any freaking time they want. I give them what I got. I gave them. I already told them what I got. I told them how they could get it. Right? So anyways, I thank you for listening to this, and I'm still in this jam. I'm trying to work my way out of, and I've been talking to a counselor about the trauma I suffered. Over Jennifer Robinson, and how it's affected my ability to interact with the case. And I've tried to get lawyers, and if a lawyer sees this or somebody knows somebody that can help me, I still have not been able to look at the case again. All the damage has been done to me. Everything I engaged the court for them to prevent. Instead, all of what I said in the courts that people could get access to was used against me. Right? Chronologically speaking. Right? Okay, so anyways, until next time. Oh, and if you haven't, if you could look at my album, it's called You Feel Me Yet. There's like 4 jazz tunes, some a little 3-piece set there, and other things, some guitar. I would appreciate it. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and 150 places, right? So until next time, think free and be free.